Hey, everybody. Today we're going to talk about politics, but don't worry. I'm going to do a fundamental analysis of the differences between conservatism and liberalism in a way you probably never heard before, but it does explain a lot. So let's get started. In our two-party political system, we typically label Democrats as liberals and Republicans as conservatives. Attempts to explain the actions of politicians based on their party characteristics is futile because the underlying ideology is dynamic. In recent history, we've seen complete position shifts between parties. The real difference between these two camps actually has little to do with the direction of either slant. It is in the fundamental process each party uses to achieve their political objectives that can explain all of the differences. Liberals are outcome driven, while conservatives are principle driven. If you dissect how each of these is utilized, you can understand why things unfold so differently for each party. The outcome driven approach is focused on achieving a specific result. What makes the Democrats so successful is that they will use any means necessary to achieve their goal. By getting constituents to agree on the objective, they can rally support from nearly all members because they don't get distracted by the details of how they plan to get there. Conservatives, on the other hand, being principle-driven, are concerned about the process, sometimes more than the actual result. In fact, some conservatives are willing to die on the hill of their chosen value, even if it means that the overall objective fails. What makes it especially difficult for conservatives to gain consensus is that even when they agree on an issue, there can be significant differences of opinion for the way to get there. Since values are based on personal choice derived from the individual's beliefs developed over the course of their life, the variations for which value drives a conservative are virtually unlimited. Having a strong value system can lead to intolerance for those who do not share your chosen beliefs. The differences do not have to be major to create an impasse. The irony is that conservatives as a group typically have a strong religious background, and if you look at the number of divisions that have occurred within Christianity, you see evidence of the same thing. Conservatives seem to simultaneously resent the success that liberals have at achieving consensus while condemning their lack of principles in the process of getting there. Liberals have no such envy of conservatives and continue to let their proven method give them an advantage. They know that conservatives feel the need to play fair, while they play to win. There is an ironic similarity between liberals and conservatives. Both sides will pick the most important thing to fight for and elevate it above all others. The difference? Conservatives do this individually, while liberals do it collectively. It's easy to see the infighting among Republicans and how it so easily divides them and often leaves them politically impotent. It's more difficult to understand why Democrats sometimes take the surprising positions they do. Democrats will apparently support things they once rejected and reject things they once supported. From the outside, this appears to be incongruent, but this does not represent a change in political philosophy. It means they've elevated a different objective at the expense of these other things. Remember, they operate on the premise that the end justifies the means. Since 2015, a major goal of liberals has been to beat Trump, keep him from winning anything else, and destroy him and his credibility. Every time liberals seem to have shifted their politics, it is because this objective will not let them side with Trump ever or support anything that will give him a win ever. But getting Trump is not their number one goal. They want to stay in power. For decades, the game of politics has been played using an underlying set of rules oddly respected by both sides. Liberals did well under this system and retained power for much of the past century. Trump entered the field as a businessman, not a politician, and brought his own take on how things should go. It resulted in a major shift in political dynamics. The instinct of both sides were unable to process how to adapt, but since the changes brought power to the conservatives, some just went along for the ride, while others stepped aside in protest. Liberals began a fight for their political future. To them, Trump did not belong, and he threatened the status quo. Liberals knew much of this movement was based in Trump himself, but they didn't know how enduring his following could be or how long this shift might continue after he left office. So this attack extended to everyone who aligned themselves with Trump. To liberals, this is political warfare, and they intend to win at all cost. Collateral damage is acceptable because they are playing the long game. They will sacrifice their own if necessary, make sharp turns, reverse course, or accelerate if they think it will serve their purpose. It's unclear if conservatives have learned anything during the reign of Donald Trump. If they haven't, then it's likely politics will just return to its previous state after he leaves office. What has become apparent about conservatives under the Trump era is that the power to change things can reside in one person. But that person is not the one at the top. It is that stubborn holdout who can't see the forest for the trees and stops the progress of conservatism by thinking they're being a martyr. What they actually are is just a selfish wrench who throws themselves in the gears of government. And the liberals are cheering them on every step of the way. The game morphs, but the game continues.